Lindsay, what did he have to say?
Well, Adrienne, Justin Van Rootselaar also lives in Tumbler Ridge. In a statement, he says he is the biological father of the individual responsible. And he goes on to say that he has a sorrow that is difficult to put into words. He says he was estranged from the shooter and not given the opportunity to be part of raising the shooter. He says Jesse Van Rootselaar did not use that family name at any point. CBC News has not verified those claims. In part of the statement, Justin Van Rootselaar speaks to the victims, to the families who have lost their loved ones, and to every person who has been affected by this senseless and unforgivable act of violence. I offer my most heartfelt condolences. I cannot begin to imagine the depth of your grief. Please know that you are in my thoughts and prayers, and that I share in the profound sadness that has settled over our community.
And Lindsay, you've been looking into the family's history with firearms. What more have you learned tonight?
Well, we are learning that some people in Tumbler Ridge, Adrienne, had been worried for years about firearms in the house where the shooter's mother and stepbrother were killed. Worried because the shooter had mental health problems. The RCMP say police had visited the home on several occasions and that the shooter was apprehended and treated for mental health. I learned about this concern from a conversation with the head of the Canadian Coalition for Firearm Rights. He was talking to members of his group, gun owners in Tumbler Ridge, and they wanted to know why firearms were seized from the residence and then returned after the owner of those firearms petitioned to get them back. It's important to point out that there's a lot we don't know here. We don't know who owned the guns that were taken and returned, and we don't know if those firearms were used in the crime.
I'd like to see some accountability. I'd like to know what went into the decision to return those firearms, when they were returned. What was the procedure? What was the due diligence that the RCMP was involved, and others, psychologists or whoever? I'd like to know what those steps that were taken were before those firearms were returned to a clearly inappropriate environment.
Earlier today on Power and Politics, the RCMP said records related to those guns, why they were taken away and why they were given back, are sealed.
All right, thank you, Lindsay. That's Lindsay Duncombe in Vancouver.